Are you ready for another party favorite? I have an amazing take on the 7-layer dip. It is so easy, delicious, and you can make it ahead. You've got to join me today on Cooking Made Easy with June, brought to you by Macy's, the happy shopping store in Spanish Fork. Welcome to Cooking Made Easy with June. On this episode, we are making the classic 7-layer dip. Now, what are you thinking? An Asian knows how to make a 7-layer dip? Well, yes, I can. The history of this recipe, now there's so many versions, okay? But the history of this recipe is that I was in college and I had never had 7-layer dip before, but one of my roommates made it and it was amazing. And then since then, I've kept the recipe. I should show it to you, maybe later, but I'll show it to you. But anyway, but then I've had it since then, other versions of it, and this is the best one, hands down. So I'm excited to show you this particular recipe. So I'm going to first brown the mixture of sausage and hamburger and ground beef. I like to add a little non-stick spray in the bottom because it gets a little over sticky and crusty. So all I did was, you can just get any kind of sausage really. I just used a regular sausage. It's not Italian flavor or anything, it's just regular sausage. You could probably use sage. Sometimes they have the sage flavored sausage too, which is fine. So I just use a regular sausage. And okay, this is really odd because I'm right-handed, left-handed. Most people would go like this and use this, but I turn it this way because it's really weird. But I'm right-handed when it comes to writing. But I eat with my left hand. I don't know. You guys, I'm just all over the place. Okay, so you're just going to brown, not just brown, you're going to cook your meat thoroughly, okay? So I'm just going to mix it together to cook. Now, when you talk about ground beef, I like to use ground sirloin, honestly. If you have that, spend a little extra to get the ground sirloin, and it's really worth it. So like for this, I did get ground sirloin. Okay, so I'm going to let that, actually, another way to get the meat cook a little faster, even though I have it on high, is to put a lid on it. So my mom showed me that. So I'm going to put a lid on it so it gets hot faster. While it's getting hot, I'm going to chop our onion. So this dip, basically, so the yellow onion. Basically, this dip, we're going to do a certain, up to a certain layer, and then we're going to bake it. Honestly, I don't remember if I counted the layers, so maybe we have to count today to see if it's really a 7-layer or not. So I'm just going to chop a little bit of onion for the baking part. We're also going to use green onion for garnish. With that. So this for the purpose of the dip, you don't want a ton of onion. So I'm actually just going to chop it. There's different ways to chop onion, and it doesn't have to be perfect in any way, but for some reason today I'm just like, everything's flying everywhere. Honestly, I think half of the onion might be just enough. Now, I've also, when I'm in a hurry, I've also used the dried onion flakes, and they work great also. Oh gosh, I'm getting into my eyes. I don't know if you guys remember one segment we had, we're cutting onions, and she was like, stick bread in your nose, and it worked. Was it in my nose or in my mouth? Oh no, maybe it was in my cheeks. I don't remember. No, it was in my cheeks, not my nose. It was, put it in your cheeks, and I wonder if that absorbs the fumes. And it really worked. It was weird. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. And we have the onions. Now, that's all I need. So I'm going to show you the little tweak that I made, even from the recipe that I first got, is that I'm going to flavor my beans a little bit with some chicken paste. And if you have chicken broth, that would be even better. So I'm going to just open the cans of beans. Now, the reason I came up with this idea was because one of my friends, he actually served some refried beans that he made from scratch. He wouldn't tell me what he put in it, but I tasted, and it tasted like some chicken broth. It tasted like there's lots of onions and garlic. It was amazing. It was the best refried bean I've ever had in my life. I've been trying to get him to come on the show, but anyways, maybe another time. So I'm just going to add 2 cans of these smaller, 2 smaller cans of the refried beans. I've tried the non-fat kind before, and it's not as good with the flavor. But if you're gonna eat a dip like this, come on, just do it. Just get the regular. Okay, so we have that. I'll move this over so I can reach it. So I'm just going to spread the beans in here a little bit, just break it down a little bit, and then I'm going to add some chicken paste. Like I said, if you have chicken broth, that's awesome too. Just a little bit. And I'm just going to do it like this. Okay. I'll move that out. So you see, it's just a little bit, but it's a concentrated chicken paste. You can also use the bouillon powder, the chicken, I forgot what they call it, pollo something, and just to add extra flavor to your canned beans. I feel like this adds extra flavor to it when I mix it all together. Oh, I can check on my meat. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Cooking while we're talking. So you break it up and make sure that all the red is gone. Okay, so did you hear that little noise? It's because I forgot to tell you, you had to preheat the oven to 350 because we're going to bake the first part at 350. Okay, so I just broke it up a little bit. I'm gonna cover it again and let it cook a little bit longer until it's all the way cooked. For some reason, my stove is taking a little bit longer to cook. Okay, all right, so we have that. Okay, so I'm just going to spread the beans out roughly. Doesn't have to be perfect. So you mix, use the same pan. You don't need to use another bowl. I'm going to, let's see. In reality, I use the disposable pans because I don't want to wash even that after the party, right? Usually I don't make this dip except for I don't make it like a meal. You know, you guys make it for get-togethers, like in a potluck, or it goes a long ways. And it's filling. It's got lots of beef and sausage. The original recipe, here's another tweak. It calls for like half a pound of sausage and half a pound of ground beef, but I put a lot of meat because Steve likes a lot of meat on his. So that's even better, right? So I got that in there. Okay, that's it. All right, so we got that flavored bean in there. I'm going to finish off these. Okay, it looks like it's about ready. Now, it's very important that the next step I'm going to show you, we need to drain the fat. There's still fat and flavor in the meat and sausage, but we don't want too much fat where it's pulling over when we bake it. Now, some people do add all the fat in there, and it does add a little more flavor, but I don't love it that way. I like it better when I drain it. So, okay, I think it's about ready. It's ready. I'm going to get my colander and drain it over here. Okay. So when you drain it, make sure you shake it around, get as much as you can out. Okay. I'm going to carefully whoop over here. So there's a little bit in there, that's okay. Okay, so you just add your beans, and this is a little extra meat, but my family loves the extra meat. And again, you can adjust to however you would really want it, right? At this point, we add our onions. Now, okay, so that's 1, 2, 3 layers. Yeah, I'm gonna count. It's really 7 layers. We're gonna have to change the name to 8 layers or 6 layers. I don't know. I never thought about counting it. So we have the onions and then your jalapeno. Now, I kept looking for more spicy jalapeno, or green chilies, I mean, but it just says green chilies, and it's a tiny bit spicy. Some are spicier than others, I believe. I'm just gonna use my hands and spread it out a little bit. Okay, so we're gonna add your green chilies. And then we're going to put 3 cups of, 1.5 cup of Monterey Jack shredded and 1.5 cup of cheddar. I like to add sharp, but this one it was easier for me because it's already shredded. So that's about 1.5 cups, and then so maybe that's almost 2. And some people don't like as much cheese. We don't love as much cheese, but I mean, this is good. So, but cheese to some people is the key ingredient, right? Did you guys keep count how many layers that was? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5. And then, gosh, I meant to open this before I started taping this show. So we just, now if I wasn't on camera, I would be like, sticking my teeth in there. Get it out, open! But it's bad for your teeth. Did you know that plastic, like it wears your teeth down, so don't do it too often. Like, see? Okay, so I'm just gonna do this whole bottle of taco sauce. Just put that right on top. I didn't keep track. Did I say 5? I think this is gonna be more than 7 layers, you guys. Ooh. Okay, so put that taco sauce right there. Ooh. And I'm gonna spread it a little bit, just to kind of get it like that. Now, we just stick it in the oven and bake it. See, I couldn't find my cloth. I'm gonna use my hand and just clean that off a little bit because you have such a mess. Like I said, I use disposable, I'll use this clean cloth here. I usually use disposable dish because it's kind of a messy thing on your pan to have your baked cheese and all that, right? But this is prettier. So, okay, we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna stick this in the oven for 20 minutes at 350. So come back and we're going to prepare some more toppings. Hi, welcome back. So, I had some black olives in there. Usually a whole can is just too much. And I've also bought the kind of black olives that has like already chopped and it's too minced. So I like to use whole olives for my topping. So first what I will do is chop the onions, and I'm going to make some guacamole. So we don't really need this many onions, honestly. It's just a garnish. So I'm actually going to just take like 1 onion after all that. And I'm just going to do a little chopping. Mostly we don't care as much about the stem, but mostly it's for the greens right here to look, so that it will look all pretty. So put that right there. Just that little bit is going to add a lot of flavor to our dip. So we took a break and we were just counting. Let me rinse this off. We were just counting how many layers. So, oh no, I forgot. Okay, so we've already used up 5 or 6 layers. Oh, I'll have to count again. Dang it. 6. Thanks, Sam. We already had 6 layers in the oven. So it's going to be like 11 layers, I think. So, okay, and we don't need a lot of tomatoes either. I'm going to cut this. Sometimes I like to use cherry tomatoes because they're a little bit redder and so pretty. And I do have some. I guess I could have used some cherry tomatoes. But I'm just going to add, but these tomatoes are yummy too. So but actually I need to sharpen my knife again. Actually, I don't think I ever sharpened these. I got confused. Okay, so we have these tomatoes, I would like small pieces of tomatoes. It's just, it adds a little bit of fresh flavor, but not too much. Add a different texture also, because everything else is like soft and gooey, right? So then we have some black olives. And I'm just gonna, sometimes it's harder to cut these little things, right? Even though they're in smaller pieces already, you have to do one at a time. So now some people don't like black olives. So, well, my family, there's a couple people who do not like black olives, so I just put it on the outside of it, and they can pick it out. You just need a little bit of that, okay? Okay, I'm gonna eat one. Love black olive. Okay. Put that there. Okay, now, I just go buy a case of just guacamole, avocado already pressed, and it's fresh and it's yummy. But I like to doctor it up. So we're just gonna put, it looks like about a cup and a half maybe, of avocados. I swear this is just avocado, but I think it's guacamole. Yeah, holy guacamole. It comes in this big pack. It's because I taste garlic in it. And and maybe a little salt. But in any case, I like to use that, and I like to add an avocado to make it, again, texture and chunky. Just a fresh avocado. Oh, goodness. Oh, I saw, I guess you could be professional and stick the knife in the pit and just pull it out. So, we have an avocado. Actually, I'm going to add a little bit of salsa to add a little bit more flavor. I didn't want to run and get a spoon. I'm going to stir it up a little bit. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of salsa because I already taste garlic in there. So I'm going to stir a little bit of that. See? I know some guacs, people put like tomatoes and stuff, but we're going to already have all this other stuff in there. Okay, so I'm just going to cut up the avocado like that into little chunks. I don't know if you've seen me do this before. And I'm gonna use a whole avocado. So use the tip of your knife and just score it like that. Okay, and then I take a spoon, take my spoon and just scrape it all out, see? And you don't waste anything. Lovely. My goodness, avocados have gotten so expensive. They're so yummy though. You gotta have it for all your Mexican dishes or just eat with eggs, scrambled eggs or whatever. Love avocados. Okay. And I've heard of people making really healthy smoothies with it. Okay, so if you get holy guacamole, it already has lots of flavor and lime and things in there. And you put chunky, fresh avocados. All right. Let me think. Yeah, oh my gosh, we have more than 7 layers coming up. So we're gonna take a little break, and when we come back, I'm gonna take it out of the oven and layer it. All right, you guys, aha. Look at that. So now the baking time, of course, depends on your oven. Let me clear this. So, but the main thing you really want is to see how it's bubbling a little bit on the outside. You can see that, how it's hot and you can see the juices and it's bubbling. And that's all you need, really. Honestly, I mean, everything's cooked. It's not gonna be a big deal. So now we have it while it's warm. You do go ahead and add all your toppings. And the first thing you add after it comes out is your guacamole. Oh, you guys, smells amazing. And you know, as far as like health-wise, it's not so bad. I mean, really, you get the beans and the cheese. Okay, maybe I'll stop there. Guacamole. And you just don't have to eat a lot of it, right? So good. This is like a full meal to me. Like when I have a little bit of this and some chips, some corn chips, it just fills me up. Okay, I'm not gonna waste this, so I'll grab a spatula. Don't wanna waste your guacamole. Isn't it funny how like when you're making Mexican food, sometimes you just guacamole? Or you're making spaghetti, and then you go spaghetti. Maybe it's just me. Guacamole. Love it. Okay, there's that, and then we add a little sour cream. Now the sour cream, it's hard to spread, right? So you just put a little dollop around the edges and just kind of like spread it. You want it just a little bit, you know, not a lot. Now some people do like a lot of sour cream and they can put it a lot more. In this case, I think I might add a little bit more. I want to say maybe it's half a cup of sour cream on top. Let's just go ahead and put the rest on there. It's going to be good. I've heard of people substituting with yogurt. So I guess that if you're lactose intolerant, you could use the non-fat Greek yogurt, and it tastes a lot like sour cream, honestly, so that would work too. Okay, we got that. And now we just add some black olives. Oh my gosh, I didn't count how many layers. I want to say it's 11. I think we figured it out. Some black olives, some tomatoes, and then you top it off with some green onions, just like that. You could put more tomatoes so that everybody gets a little serving of it, right? So, ta-da! Oh my gosh, let me go grab my chips. I was gonna say, I'm gonna taste it, but I didn't grab the chips. All right, so nothing in the camera there for a minute. Now, I should have thought about frying my own chips, right? So I'm just going to put, so you could serve it like putting your chips out like that. Oh, I guess I could have stopped. Whoa. You don't need to fill it that much. It'd be not as pretty. I'm just gonna put some back in here. There we go. Let's put some chips on the background. And let's move this over here. Look at that. I'm going to, I guess you could put some green onions there. I'm actually just going to put a little bit of dip to taste. I'm just gonna take a chip and take a spoonful right in the corner here, not to ruin it. And then get a little sausage in there and ground beef. There. I taste a green chili. I think next time I'll add a little bit more green chili because I like it a little bit spicier. So let's count the layers, guys. Bean, meat, cheese, taco sauce, what did I forget? And something else. Anyway, I think it's 11. We're gonna call it 7-layer dip, so when you search it, you can find 7-layer dip, and then in reality, it's 11 layers. So come back again to Cooking Made Easy with June so we can have another great recipe for your party. Happy cooking.